Well, on that note, when you're giving out advice as an expert, what's the weirdest thing you've had stuck up your bum?
Well, there was this one time. What is the thing that you have a story about somebody else?
Oh no, there's no story. This is that was just me asking. just thought of it. Let's go. So, welcome to episode 2 of Sick Craic.
The second one.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So, if you were setting the rules for your funeral, what would they be?
Oh, I don't know. I've actually thought about this. Like, if I knew I was going to die, I'd set up some practical jokes or something.
So you're saying you don't know that you're going to die, as in?
I mean, like, if I knew when, like, if it was like a more imminent thing. I mean, it could be imminent. I don't know. But if I knew it was imminent, I'd be like, all right, let's mess with people. But rules, I
think it'd be fun to like slingshot out of the coffin. Like be on some hydraulic thing where, yeah.
I mean, that'd be
like mid-thing and have it planned with the person presenting it where, like, as they're talking and saying, we really miss James and it's such a shame he can't be here. And then, bam, I come flying out on some thing where I fly out of the coffin.
I mean, that would probably cause more funerals, dying of heart attacks.
Which is the aim.
But, I mean,
if I'm gone, my friends are coming with me.
Yeah, we all want to have a party. I mean, is there something about rules somebody has set up?
So there's a grandfluencer, which is a grandmother influencer, a 92-year-old TikTok star who gets 15 million views a video, which in its own self is enraging. But anyway, so she made a TikTok that sets out the rules for her funeral, which includes you can cry a bit, but don't cry too much. Don't make a fool of yourself. Bertha is not invited. Don't let her in.
Okay. Bertha.
And you better get drunk afterward. Take a shot for me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
And she said in the comments that getting drunk during the memorial is also okay. But there's no like clarification on who Bertha is and why she's not invited.
I feel like I don't want Bertha at my funeral either.
I want Bertha at mine. She sounds like she's a wild one.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, she's done something. Yeah, I mean, drinking's allowed. I have no problem with that whatsoever. That's always a good time. These are pretty tame parts of Bertha. We want to know that backstory.
Yeah. I wonder if like Bertha just makes everything about herself, and it's just this is my like
could be
she died, but at the end of the day, this is how this affects me.
Oh yeah, I hate those people. It's like the trauma I've gone through because this other person died. It's like, well, they've kind of had it worse. So, well,
I mean, in some ways they have it easy because they're out of the equation now. So,
yeah, they don't have to listen to
Bertha bitch about
anymore.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it'd be more awesome if Bertha was like her best friend. They've never had an issue, and then out of nowhere, it's just like, yeah, you're not welcome. And this is how she finds out her entire life she doesn't like her.
Also, who's going to police? Who's going to be like, sorry, Bertha, you're not allowed in? Like, is there bouncers at this funeral? Like, what?
Well, I guess they just don't tell Bertha.
I mean, it's going to be rough. Not to know. Like, sorry, Bertha, we're not around Tuesday.
Yeah, nothing is happening. But do not. Poor Bertha.
I think I want to mess with somebody now and just ban one person randomly from my funeral
and never tell anyone why, and then like forever everyone has to guess what happened.
Yeah, why did it? And just mess with that person. Why didn't you want me at the funeral?
Yeah, and make sure that they know about the funeral, but they're not invited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you set like a drink, like it's like this one where you can get drunk and you can drink whatever, except one person. They're not allowed to drink. You're the designated sober person, Bertha.
I think what I want to do is I want to leave somebody like their band, they're not allowed to come. And then also just they get a card and in my handwriting it says, you know what you did. And that's it. Just forever. They're going to be like,
what did I do? It'd be even better if like she doesn't even know Bertha. It's just some random person. It's like the next door neighbor she's never spoken to. It's like, you know what you did. And Bertha's just sitting there like, I've never spoken to this person. Why would they even include me? And why would they go out of their way? Like, I want to just do that. Just pick a phone book and just pick some random person and be like, this person is not allowed to my funeral. No reason, but they know what they did.
Exactly. Or what you could do is like somebody, you know, so like 5 people with the same first name, just be like, Dave's not allowed to come to my funeral. Like, what? Why? Which Dave? What?
Yeah. You never clarify. And I know what you did, Dave. And so that each one of them's like, was it me? Was it me? And then they all are like, well, one time I didn't offer him a drink or something, or they're all going through like a list of what it could be.
Then there'd be one guy be like, well, I did sleep with his girlfriend at that time, but he didn't know about that.
How would he know? There's no way that he would know.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Well,
on that note, the next story. So if you were a fitness trainer, not much of a stretch. I mean, you're pretty close to it right now, but if you were that as an occupation, and a homeless man slept with your wife because God told her to sleep with him.
Okay.
What would you do?
I guess I would be like, enjoy your life with the homeless person. See ya. And go work out or something. I don't know.
So a homeless man got beaten up by a trainer for having sex with his wife. A stunning influencer too. And the article even specifically says an unwashed homeless man was beaten up by a beefy fitness trainer for sleeping with his wife and has now been snapped kissing and cuddling with a sexy Brazilian influencer at a party. So to some degree, this is all turned around and so this homeless man named as Givaldo Alves, which I'm sure is 100% perfect pronunciation.
100%,
was beaten up in Jardim Roriz region, again, perfect pronunciation, of Brazil. Some would say that I'm Brazilian with my pronunciations. The wife of the instructor said she had sex with him because God told her to help him. And somehow help.
You might have your definition of help mixed up with something else there.
And then despite being beaten by the guy for sleeping with his wife, which he said he does not regret, which probably doesn't help. But anyway, but I guess if you're beaten up by the guy, you'd be like, well, at least I did get to sleep with your wife. So, and he ended up in hospital with bruises and 2 black eyes. But he's then become famous in Brazil kind of for it. So he told the woman he was unshowered before they had sex as well. So you would think that step 1 would be like, that's fine, just shower first. Because I don't know what part of God telling her to help him involved you don't need to shower.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty important. But also, I just want to come back to the whole help means sleep with him thing, because I feel like lots of people are coming up to her and be like, can you help me? God said you got to help me out with this.
I haven't showered either.
I mean, that's just an extra weird part of the story. I don't know. It's very strange.
Well, yeah. So this guy now has been snapped with an influencer who's 22 and has more than 1 million TikTok followers.
All right, so he's into the influencers. That's his cup of tea, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you're an unwashed homeless man, of course you're gonna, and influencers are throwing themselves at you. Of course you're gonna sleep with them.
Yeah, So was this like, how did God send this message to the first lady?
So it goes into more detail where he explained the situation. So he says, I was walking down the street and I heard a cry, boy, boy. I looked around and there was only me, and she confirmed it with me saying, do you want to go out with me? He said he told her, girl, I have no money. I'm homeless. I don't even have the money to take you to a hotel. He claims she replied, it can be in my car. And then he's now launched his own Instagram page and already has an army of 254,000 followers.
Jesus. So there's so many angles to look at it. Was she just one day she was like, I need to sleep with the next person I see, and he happened to be the homeless person? Or was she directly? Did she receive a message from God to like, this is the guy, just go sleep with him right now? I'm going to watch because I'm God and that's what I do. Or like what happened? Because that is super crazy. Nobody's ever shouted boy at me and just wanted to get in the car with them. So
really?
I mean,
that happens to me regularly. That's a part of the story that I just thought was normal.
Yeah, well, you're special. So
maybe it's because I don't shower.
That may be the issue, yeah, or the reason, I should say. I don't know. But also, he went to hospital with bruises and 2 black eyes. Never gone to a hospital for a bruise or bruises. So that seems a bit of a stretch also. But things work in mysterious ways. How the hell has his life turned around from this? So I guess her help did help him somehow. More people should sleep with unshowered homeless people.
To help them.
Yeah, to help them, of
in
course.
their car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of car does it say?
It doesn't say, unfortunately. No. Hopefully there's a big one, because
yeah.
I mean, it'd be a lot worse as well if this was a tiny car, because there's less room for the smell to go away. So
yeah, you need to win all the windows open.
In a mini minor, like just it's just even worse. You're like in this tiny space where, yeah. I mean, there's even, yeah. I was just gonna say, like, he doesn't. If he's homeless, right, and he hasn't showered, then there's gonna be hygiene issues all over the place. Like, it's got to be. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, just every girl's dream. Yeah.
And if God did tell you that, why would you not then just pay for the hotel? So if you're gonna go through all this, right, like from the girl side of it, why would she not pay $150 or whatever it is for a hotel there? I mean, Brazil's meant to be cheap. I'm sure you can get a cheap hotel somewhere.
I feel like, did you ever see that movie, that Ricky Gervais movie, the one, The Invention of Lying?
Yeah.
And he's walking down the street. He's like, if you don't sleep with me right now, the world's going to end. I feel like something like that happened. Someone was like, it was like a prank show. And somebody said to her, I'm God, you got to sleep with that guy. And then she actually did it. They were like, oh, fuck.
Imagine if this was a prank show and there are like producers sitting somewhere that are just like, oh God, what do we do now? We've told her to do this.
That is what I would think has happened. But yeah, because as you said, surely there was a hotel nearby. Just pay the couple of $100 or whatever it is to get in and not be in a car. Because then he could have a shower. He could take his time, be nice and clean at least, or
yeah. I mean, if you're going through such a crazy experience for God, it's not much of a stretch to just be like, well, I'm gonna pay for a hotel in the process too.
Yeah, seems like for a divine act, it would be worth springing a few $100. So yeah, it's so weird.
All right. Well,
Next time I'm in Brazil,
God's going to talk to you.
Not showering at all.
No. You're going to go, God's going to talk to you and you're going to go find the next homeless man. The smallest car you can rent.
When in Brazil.
That's a new saying. What if that kicked off the new trend? When in Brazil.
I feel like tourism in Brazil would both be decreased in one area and increased in other, like demographics. I mean, anyway.
All right. Well, how cheap of a pint is it worth it to go to Wales' worst pub?
Depends what worst pub means.
As in the worst pub or the toughest pub in Wales.
Pub. I mean, it's a tough question. I presume it's like a pound a pint or something like that over there.
Well, you hit the exact cost of the pint that they've set it at. The long pool, it's called. They've set £1 pints and they've put £300 behind the bar for Sunday sessions to try to attract people to what is known as Wales's toughest pub.
All right, nice.
Oh, okay. So yeah, well they filmed a TV show there, a documentary. And it was the toughest pub in Britain, and the producers are the ones who put the £300 behind the bar. Obviously, just to serve the community, not to encourage reckless drinking.
Just to be nice, not to incite violence or acts of, just drunkardness. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I feel like a pound of pint is pretty cheap. So I think it's just bound to get people very drunk, and that leads to people fighting and stuff. So I don't know, but as long as it's
well, you got to hear this bit, right? So they filmed the show, and the guy who was running the pub says at the end of the show, there's a shot of a man walking out of the pub and falling over, but he was part of the film crew. So the film crew went there, got drunk, fall out of the pub, and then show off how bad this pub is.
That's one way of making a documentary about tough pubs, but yeah, that's the kind of like reality TV where they're just like, let's just make a half an hour, whatever crap we can do. Like, just go to a pub and pay 300 quid for some pints. That doesn't sound like a great TV show, but then like people falling over and just being completely out of their face drunk, that's a bit funnier, so people will watch it.
Yeah,
so even if it's them,
if we can't get people drunk enough, we'll just get our crew drunk so that they then go in and act as if they're part of the people attending, and
that's it. Yeah, I'm not surprised, but Wales.
It reminds me of a one they had in America where they did some promotion in baseball, where basically there was it was 10-cent beer night, and you would expect that if you start selling beers for 10 cents, that things are going to grow pretty wild.
Yeah.
But they didn't seem to do this, and it caused a riot. And yeah, they were throwing beers on the ground and whatever, and there was a mass pitch invasion. And it even says in Wikipedia that players were forced to use bats to protect themselves whilst retreating off the field.
Nice. Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, 10-cent beers sounds like a we're going to get lots of people. Yeah, but they're there for the beer, not for the sports. So what do you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
It's great.
There was another one last year where like some like low-level college football team where no one was going, the coach decided to pay the tab for the crowd to get people to come along. But it didn't end up badly. But yeah. I mean, it would have been worth it to just go just to get a free drip. Yeah. Get a bunch of free beers, I guess.
I think it's a cheap night out. Not bad. Get a lot of drink.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I mean, if you lived anywhere near it, it would.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
All right. Well, have you ever had to wee in a plastic bag at an airport?
Not at an airport, no.
Just on a night out in Wales.
I mean, yeah, you know, these things happen sometimes, but yeah, no, not at an airport. To be quite honest, they usually have toilets in airports. So anything that I've been to have. So you know, that's where I tend to go. But what happened here? How did somebody?
So a couple in UK in Manchester experienced mayhem at the Manchester airport. People were forced to wee in plastic bags and travelers collapsing in the huge security lines. And Manchester airport has been headlines due to the increased and staffing shortages and whatever. And yeah, they were saying that people were like passing out from dehydration and exhaustion, and yeah, people couldn't leave the line, so they had to piss in bags.
Or just not do that. That's their other option was not to piss in bags.
Well, they closed. They only had they had Terminal 3 and 1 had to go through the same security, so they had 2 terminals worth of people going through the same area, and there were 5 staff for 2 terminals to go through the security.
That's mental.
And despite arriving at 4:30, the couple was still waiting in line at 8:15 when their flight was due to take off at 8:05.
So you missed your flight.
Yeah. Well, they were having those problems here last week, and the airport people basically just said, "Oh yeah, they blamed the passengers for not being used to going through security and taking their laptops out, which is why they had like hour-long queues."
Yeah, I mean, they had the same problem here. They're still having the same problem here as well. Yeah. And in fact, they came out during the week that Dublin is it was the second most stressful airport in Europe.
Really?
So I was like, yeah, I can understand it. But like you and I have traveled a lot, and the airport security queue has always pissed me off. Like there's people who are just so fucking stupid. Like, get your stuff ready before you get there. You could just walk through in like 30 seconds. It's fine. But people like don't take stuff out of their pocket, and then they like take half the stuff out of their pocket, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think I needed to take my change out." And then they got to take their laptop out, and then they got to take their tablet out, and then they got to put their phone in. And it's like, come on, it's very straightforward. It drives me fucking crazy. People wait to get up to the thing. I'm sitting there or standing there. I've got everything like in my bag or whatever. It's all ready to go. And then these idiots are like, "Oh, I'm at the airport. I'll slowly take my jacket off," and like smack in the face while I'm taking my jacket. I was like, "Come on, you fucker." So yeah. So maybe it's one of those people. Maybe they were not like, if they
just
were going
like
to wait 4 hours in a queue.
200 people doing that to create 4-hour lines.
I mean, I still feel like the airports should just hire people and pay them enough money. And that's why they have a staff shortage.
That would be, the first part.
Do that and then fix the problem. It's all good.
Because, I feel like taking your laptop out of your bag, even if you do it as slowly as possible and wait till the last second, is still 30 seconds, maybe a minute. It's not 4 hours delayed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of sides to this one, but let's just blame the idiots and the airports.
Well, here they were doing, so a bunch of people flew, and when they arrived, their bags weren't there, and the airline were like, yeah, we knew that. We didn't put the bags on the plane, and it was either you don't fly or we fly you and don't bother to put your bags on the plane because we couldn't get the bags on. So we just decided we'll fly you and then we'll deal with it.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what you want. Like, where are our bags? They're not here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing and pisses you off if you like if they're like, oh, we misplaced it. But if they're like, yeah, no, we knew that. We weren't going to tell you until now. But yeah, we didn't want you to be late though.
Oh, you wanted your bag. Oh, we thought you were like giving it to us. Like, here's some free stuff.
Yeah, we were just going to store it here for you until you return.
Yeah, nice of them to do that.
Well, good old Ryanair are upping the game in the airline industry, and they kicked a disabled man off the flight for fears that his wheelchair could ruin the plane.
Yeah, good old Ryanair, being top of the, like, I don't know, charts for every thing that they could possibly do to piss people off. I feel like at this point, they just do it for publicity. So,
yeah, I feel like Ryanair do seem to go out of their way to find how can we look like the most crazy airline possible, and it's just every few months we got to come up with something. I wonder if it actually works for them. I wonder if it's like we're going to get international headlines if we do something this stupid, and therefore people are going to see us. So it's free marketing.
I bet there's someone who has a job where they get a bonus if they're in X number of like international newspapers or TV programs. And so they're like, you know what? Let's kick a disabled person off the plane. Fuck your wheelchair. And then they get loads of press. And then some dude is like, that's worth fucking lots of money.
Let's charge for the toilets.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And if you want toilet paper, that's also extra.
Yeah. We have the base toilet fee, we have the upgraded toilet fee, and we have the...
That's what they would do. They'd be like, yeah, it's 50 cents to get into the toilets. But if you want to flush the toilet, that's an extra 25 cents. You want water to wash your hands? That's like €2. So sorry.
No, you got to pay for the previous person's flush. So if you want to flush for them, if you want a toilet that's been flushed, you got to pay an extra 50 cents. If you're okay to use a toilet that hasn't been flushed, then you save 50 cents. You don't have to pay the entry fee.
That only costs 25 cents.
Yeah. Look at all the money we're making from all these upgrades.
Yeah. I remember I was on a Ryanair flight to I think Manchester once, and it was like the flight lasted like 40 minutes. It was ridiculous. But by the time they came down, they only got like halfway down because they were trying to sell everybody everything. It was like, do you want to buy lottery tickets?
Yeah.
Do you want to buy perfume? Do you want to buy beer? Do you want to buy this? It was like, not really. No, thanks.
Isn't even the back of the seat like selling stuff as well? From memory, the one time I took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. I flew to France once with Ryanair a few years ago. They were the only option to get to where I was going. And just to give you an idea of the people who were on Ryanair flights, there was a family just a couple of rows up from me. And this mom like bought the kid a bag of Maltesers or some sweets or something. And she said to him, "Hey, give me one." And she took a handful out of the bag, and he fucking lost the plot. He was like, "You said one." You said one. So it was pretty funny.
As he should. She sounds like a horrible person.
I mean, you said one, not fucking 6. God damn it.
Should have kicked her off the plane.
Yeah, but the funny thing about this actual story is that it doesn't surprise anybody that Ryanair are like that and would kick someone off a plane for having a wheelchair. That seems like standard practice for them. So.
Yeah. Well, most pubs you would get kicked out of if you went in naked, but in the UK, an events company wants to start doing naked pubs.
Jesus. It's just going to be a load of fucking lonely single dudes. Like,
you're going to get the peak, the peak of UK people.
I don't know. I really feel like it's just going to be dudes. We're like, oh, we're going to see some naked women. And the women are like, no, you're not. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, Yeah, I mean, have you tested it out that if you walk into a pub, you'll get kicked out if you're naked? Because I haven't trialed that one.
No, I haven't yet, but tomorrow.
Right. I see. Yeah, cool.
But I'll be unshowered, so they'll be welcomed like a god. So
you'll have your pick of the ladies in the pub. So, yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, who exactly came up with this idea? Was it like a 60-year-old man?
It's a 41-year-old man. So close.
All right. Well, it's not far off my age.
The guy who is the his company is called Nothing on Events.
Bit on the nose there, but yeah. All right.
It could be We Do Naked Pubs LLC.
Yeah, I feel I don't know if this is going to catch on, to be honest. But also,
well, no, they're running events all the time in different places.
Oh, really? Oh, they've actually done it. It's not like a.
Oh, well, they're doing like some on their website. They've done like one-off events in places. So yeah.
Wow.
Regular events dress code. Wow.
You have a dress code, so.
Yeah, they're getting excited that they've got so many. So they did an inaugural event for Nothing on Events in the Royal Oak, a small pub outside of Surrey.
And that sounds like the kind of place you would start something like this.
And there's another one on next week, so yeah.
Cool. Get a Ryanair flight.
Dave, the landlord, poured glasses of wine to accompany the meal.
Fantastic. It sounds like a good all time.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they did it, so it's happening. Next time we're going to go.
I mean,
that'd be a wild place to do a podcast from.
It would. It would be interesting.
I'm sure there'd be some fun characters.
Oh, there would. Host naturist events at pubs, restaurants, and other spaces for adults who want to experience the lifestyle in the nude. Sounds like they've put this together.
Yeah, so. I don't know who really particularly wants to just sit in a pub naked.
I'd never been in a pub and been like, this would be better if I was naked. So,
but it'd be better if they were naked.
I mean, there are certain circumstances where that's true. But I feel like, I don't know. But hey, good luck to them. Hopefully, it's all good.
Well, weirdly, and this is just by pure luck, that nearby in Surrey, they also had the annual wife carrying race, the 4th UK wife carrying race.
Nice.
So where men carry their wives and race 380 meters around the town over hay bales, and while crowd throws buckets of water at them. Oh, good. But the carried member doesn't have to be the wife or a woman. It has to weigh at least 50 kilos or wear a rucksack filled with tins of baked beans, flour, or something similar to help them hit the mark.
Right. Okay.
And the first place prize is a barrel of local ale worth £150 and £250 towards their expenses in representing Britain and competing in the World Wife Carrying Championships in Finland in July.
I mean, I don't think £250 is going to get two people to Finland.
On Ryanair, might. No toilet breaks, though.
It might, yeah. But you got to be 6 hours early for your flight to have a chance.
And no wheelchairs. Although that does seem like a cheat for this.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah,
imagine if they don't have anywhere in this that you can't be in a wheelchair, and you rock up in an electric wheelchair with your wife over your shoulder, and you're like, she weighs 50 kilos. I'm here to carry her. So the carrier who completes the course with the heaviest wife wins a pound of sausages to commend their strength and a ceremonial pat on the back from the other carriers.
Wait, they win a pound of sausages?
Yes, and a pat on the back.
I mean, I feel like they should get more. They should get like 2 pounds and some bacon and eggs as well.
Well, the oldest carrier gets a tin of pilchards and a jar of Bovril. I don't even know what either of those are. Pilchards is sardines.
Yeah.
Bovril.
It's like a drink thing. It's like a beef flavored drink.
Wow.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. What a prize.
I don't think the prizes are enticing enough, to be honest. You should get 2 tickets to the naked night out that people go to down the road. That's what you should get.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's a bit weird, though, that you don't have to be married. If you're going to call it a wife carrying.
So it doesn't have to be your wife. It could be someone else's wife.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
We just like rock up to your mate and be like, hey, can I borrow your wife? Sorry, it's for a thing.
Maybe that's what happened to Bertha. Bertha was carried by someone else in a wife carrying.
Sounds like Bertha's.
And there's even recognized holds for it. So there's the bridal carry, piggyback, shoulder ride, fireman's carry, and the most popular is the Estonian hold. And there's a less notably popular variation, the Dorking hold, also known as reverse Estonian.
Oh, reverse Estonian. That's very popular, yeah.
So this has been done since 1793.
Yeah. There's not a lot of things from 1793 that I want to do today. So
except for going to the pub naked.
Obviously.
Imagine how wild it would have been if you went to a pub naked in 1793.
I feel like that wouldn't have been as cool as we might think it is. But yeah, what an idea.
Yep. All right. Well, there's a documentary coming out on Babestation. Now, have you heard of Babestation?
Yes, someone told me about it.
Big fan of it?
Yeah. I mean, I appear on it 3 times a week. But anyway, the documentary is on that channel, or it's about the channel?
About Babestation.
About it. Is it going to be on Netflix?
I have no idea.
That's interesting. I feel like so what it was basically like a phone sex thing, but you could see the person on the screen. So you would like call in and talk to the person on the screen, and they would like take their clothes off. But anybody could watch. But then you could call in
on TV.
On the TV station. You wouldn't hear the conversation, but you'd see the girl on the screen. So I wonder though, have they recorded all the calls and now they're going to put them in the documentary? Like people.
Well, they've like interviewed some of the people that are in it, and yeah, so
they launched a lot of careers.
So one of the people said that they that the conversations were weird. Like they would want you to walk all over them wearing heels, or they would want to watch you eat. I remember a guy telling me he wanted to leave his wife for his cat. That was too much for me.
Why do you ring up a girl on the TV and be like, hey, thinking of leaving my wife for a cat? What do you think of that? Good idea?
Although if she's live on TV, like to see her reaction and know what the hell. Because also, if she's live on TV and she's got to entice people to call in, she has to act as if what she's hearing is very sexy so that other people are calling in. But at the same time, she's hearing about some guy who wants to leave his wife for his cat.
It's pretty funny, all right.
At least that'd be my excuse.
I mean, that's why I spent thousands and thousands on those phone calls just to mess with people. It was just for fun, just a joke.
So he said she elaborated more, saying he was talking about his wife's family and how he had this massive problem. And she says, I was thinking he was banging someone else. Never did I think his bloody cat. But he would always mention the cat and always in the room with him when he got kinky. And the cat was always in the room with him when he got kinky. I was naive and thought sometimes animals are just around, but then he just came out and he said he needed to leave his wife. I thought he meant for a new woman until he said it was for his cat. I was like, hell no, I ain't about this. I love animals and this is just weird. That poor cat, I still hope he never touched a cat. I feel like it was going to another level involving animals. That's just so wrong.
So this guy was like a regular caller to the show.
Well, she only lasted 6 months, so yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, there's some. I'm sure there's wilder stories than that, and that's pretty crazy. But I really want to see this documentary.
Well,
now.
It says sometimes there were strange ones who would tell you they were in their wife's closet wearing their dresses. Or you would be in the middle of the sex talk, then they would be getting there and you would hear the words, you slag, and it would mean they have been caught red-handed. They would forget to hang up, so I would hear the whole hour fight, which was great for your minutes.
That's a double hurt there, because not only has your missus found you in her wardrobe or whatever, in her clothing or whatever's going on there, on the phone to another woman, but also they're charging you by the minute. You forgot to hang up. It's like £5 a minute or something. So by the time you get like a £300 or £400 bill for,
I mean, you seem to know a lot about this.
Look, it happened once a week, and I'm pretty pissed off about them putting it in the documentary. Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, there's so much in this. There was another news article about it, and there's another guy this one guy had a fetish, and I have no idea what you call it, but he wanted me to stab him in the heart. So there I was on television acting out, having a dagger, and I was pretending to stab him. It was so funny. Everyone listening in was probably thinking he was absolutely insane, but I loved it. It was mental. People would request things like bend over, but he just wanted me to stab a dagger into his heart. I got a lot of stuff like that. Can I pretend to stand on their neck or kick them? When he mentioned the dagger, I was giggling, but he liked it. He was the only one on the phone for 5 minutes, so he definitely enjoyed it, although it's one of the most disturbing things I've heard someone say. Often I'd have had men ringing up, but I can hear a woman screaming in the background. So, yeah.
Sounds a bit weird. Sounds like this is going to definitely win the Oscar for Best Documentary.
Well, I mean, in a perfect world it would, but to win the Oscar, It's got to be about, I don't know, the life of paper.
I think we should find a way to get it into a qualifying film festival and nominate it, and just have it. It would be so funny if that actually ever. I know it could never happen, but if that was on the nomination list, all these like terrible stories, and Babestation.
Well, then she also mentioned she had another caller, this old guy, Nigel, in his 80s, who would ring up every night, and then suddenly he disappeared, and you have to think the worst, and it's really sad.
Yeah.
So way to bring everyone down with you.
But he just went to a different channel. That's what happened there.
Maybe he met Bertha.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like there will be some genuinely interesting stories we can cover in this documentary.
Wow.
It's going to be
Well. I've had people call up from Ireland.
Yeah, just a couple of times a day. But,
Yeah. She felt she could earn better money elsewhere and left.
There you go. If you can make more money. Yeah.
Well,
I think I think that it was a lot more popular before the whole like OnlyFans thing took off, I think. So
We could recreate it with OnlyFans, I guess.
I suppose, yeah, something similar.
Well, this next one is probably one of the people that had one of those fights because it's entitled "Fella wanted me to take one for the team and sleep with loan sharks to pay off his debt.
Nice.
My boyfriend's in debt. He says if I'll just have sex with his loan sharks, then we'll be free to start a new life. If I truly loved him, then I'd take one for the team. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. He claims to love and respect me, but then comes out with rubbish like this. He owes money to several different people. Does he expect me to have sex with all of them? And will one night of passion with each slug be enough to wipe the various slates clean? I don't think so, do you? The problem is he twists me around his little finger and makes everything that comes out of his mouth sound so reasonable. During the 18 months we've been together, I've done his bidding a number of times and always regretted it afterwards. From delivering birthday presents to his friends, which is in quotation marks, so I'm guessing that that means other stuff, to looking after locked suitcases in my flat for members of his family.
So anyway, she wasn't supposed to say any of this out publicly. I told her it was just a one-time thing, but it's just like just do a gangbang. Be fine. Just get it over and done with, and then no more things. There's like 7 of them around one evening. Some nice music, some candles. Get it on. There you go.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
I mean, yeah.
I want to know though. I know it probably doesn't say, but I want to know how much the loans are for, because there might be another way out of this, like earning money and then paying them off.
Working on Babestation.
yeah, just start an OnlyFans. Be like, here, you can see me nude, and then like, there you go. Just make a lot of money on that, because that apparently is quite lucrative. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, well, if you do start an OnlyFans, going into the next story, a female wrestler named Jordan Grace, she was offered a lot of money, and she received a request from a fan on OnlyFans asking her to do something very gross for $150. Why don't you take a guess at what that was?
How much was it?
$150. But that's lowballing for what this is, really.
I feel like that's not a lot for whatever, no matter what it was. So I don't know. I just, if it's a gross thing.
Well, you messaged her, so you should know. I mean, come on.
I'm trying to pretend I didn't. All right, trying to keep that a secret. Let's say.
So look, you offered her. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
I'm going to say something to do with food. I don't know.
Oh, you're on the right track, actually.
Nice. I wonder how I knew that. Anyway, tell
me. Yeah. So yeah, Dave messaged this Jordan Grace, who he's obviously a big fan of. That he'd pay her $150. Now, I don't know why she wouldn't just do this for free for you, but anyway, as a dedicated fan, she really appreciated her fans. For $150, you would think she would do this for you, especially as one of her most dedicated fans. And you asked her to shit in a brownie and eat it. So what is it about that you enjoy?
I feel like, let's just clarify. I have no idea who this person is, but
yeah, you're a big fan.
I feel like you would want at least 300 to do that. I know 350 is enough. Jesus Christ, what a person that is. That's a request. I mean, it's ballsy to even ask. Like, how do you even get that out there, first of all? Like that that request? How do you come up with it? Or
And then, so it even gets wilder. He linked to a website with someone showing how to do it and make with like a recipe. And
why though? Like, what? That's like, but also like, look, you could fake it. You could pretend to do all the steps, but then just have a regular brownie. How are they going to know?
well, yeah, so, I guess that's probably you get $150 just to eat a brownie.
I mean, yeah. So,
but I mean, she's kind of famous and whatever. And I mean, one fan, when she posted it, one fan did say, not only is it gross, it's also cheap. That's at least $1,000.
See, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this just gives me good ideas for pricing on my own site when I get a
brownie eating.
If you would like me to make brownies, it's $1,000. If you want me to eat them, that's another $1,000. So there you go.
There we go, people. $150 offer to Dave. Lowball him and negotiate.
If you want me to donate them to the local church bake sale, that's extra. I feel like I'd get kicked off the platform pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Jesus.
Well, yeah, that links into another random thing I found. So I was looking into Soul and things that you could do in Soul. And somehow on Reddit, there was a post under Soul where basically someone it was a post about like the craziest sex posts people have had on in Soul for some reason. Anyway, so it says, one time after sex, I pretended I had to take a dump and instead rubbed Nutella that I'd earlier hidden in the bathroom across my ass. When he was watching, I stuck my finger in and licked it pretending it was shit. He fell in love. That's the whole post.
I feel like you said words and I might have heard the wrong ones. So
a woman has posted on Reddit that she went to the bathroom. So they've had sex. She went to the bathroom, put Nutella there in her ass, and then put it in her finger and then licked it, and her boyfriend loved it.
I mean, it's not the most hygienic way to eat Nutella.
Probably like the third most hygienic way.
Third or fourth, yeah. I first of all, I have no like of that product. I dislike it greatly, but so I'm not a big fan of it. But why she put it on her arse? I don't know. That just
even the forethought to like put it in the bathroom to begin with is. Yeah.
I think the fact she hid it, she was like, I'm not fucking sharing my Nutella. I'm going to sneak in and have it later.
What a ballsy move. And also the fact that he liked it. Like,
I mean, yeah. So what, like, we need to know more details. She needs to follow up with that post. Like, what happened then? Did they stay together? Was she like, you're a fucking sicko? So
no, he said he liked it. She said in the post that he liked it. So,
but was she then like into it? I don't know. Like, it feels like these are two fucked up individuals. And so we should invite them on the podcast.
Yeah. If you're out there, message in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in America, there's a new theme park that's quite exciting. The theme is Cementland.
Cementland.
Yeah, it's a children's amusement park. And it's been labeled one of the strangest theme parks in America for its niche theme. I mean, who isn't excited to go see cement?
Everyone. So, like, yeah, I don't know. What's all that about? Like, why? How do you make a theme park out of cement?
Well, the guy who did it said it's kind of like jazz. It's an American original thing Why not look at it for what it is? It's impressive. It might be threatening, but you can't help but be impressed by it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's some things that you just like don't need to be patriotic about, America. You can just be like, that's a thing. Fine. I mean, if you're going to set up a theme park, there's plenty of better things to set up than cement.
Well,
maybe have a cement museum.
Well, the story takes a bit of a wild turn. So his ultimate goal was to create an amusement park with everything that they create art out of the amusements that were there in the cement. But tragically, he was run down by a bulldozer and killed on the building site of cement land at the age of 61. However, his widow and several medical experts didn't believe that the cause of death was a bulldozer accident. And in 2016, an autopsy report found that he was actually beaten to death before the murder scene was staged to look like an accident.
Whoa. That's the interesting part of the story. Like, what happened there? Somebody killed him and made it look like a bulldozer accident?
No, I think the cement is the big part of it.
You know what the rest of the story is that they haven't put in there is multimillionaire, 61-year-old's 19-year-old wife found out. Like, come on. Yeah, Jesus Christ. There's a movie in that story then.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't been. I mean, just about cement land. Screw the rest of it.
I mean, that's going to be a big part of it for sure. Yeah, Jesus. I know. I'm intrigued. I want to know why he was murdered. Yeah, so
probably they were jealous of cement land, and there was someone else who wanted to create a cement amusement park, and then they saw this and they're like, "How dare you!"
A rival cement amusement park.
Yeah,
aspiring cement amusement park owner. So, I mean, there could have been two, possibly. I don't know, but yeah, or maybe he just didn't lend his wife over to the loan sharks he had for paying for the amusement park. These are all linking together, these stories.
Or maybe he was too close to Bertha and let Bertha attend a funeral when she wasn't supposed to. And
yeah, damn, Bertha, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, speaking of massive controversies, a person who's been controversy-free for quite some time, actually, Prince Andrew, stunned wealthy pals by locking himself alone in a VIP suite for 2 days to watch porn, a new book claims. So the Duke of York, known as Randy Andy in his younger days, allegedly hid away on a trip to a 200-acre golf ranch. Okay. He's said to have enjoyed a solo porn marathon while a guest of Lee Annenberg, wife of former US ambassador to the UK. According to the author, Lee was appalled when the prince made a private visit in 1993 and holed up in his bedroom for 2 days, apparently watching porn on cable TV. So in the book, it says the Duke was always oversexed as a boob-ogling adolescent.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all adolescent males. And also 2 days in 1993. I mean, where was he getting? It was all on cable TV.
Yeah.
Babestation. You gotta imagine during the daytime it was.
Maybe he was the one who called into Babestation and wanted to talk with the cat. Yeah,
definitely. That sounds appropriate. I don't know. I feel like though 1993 wasn't like this activity must have gotten worse over the years. I feel like when more access became available to adult materials, I presume his behavior got worse. So when he went to these VIP trips, but also like just turn the
wait
TV
until
off.
he got the internet. I mean, if you're doing that in 1993 with cable,
Jesus,
yeah.
So like, he just like comes in, and Prince Andrew, here's the TV room. All right, you can fuck off. Oh, have you got the porn channels, by the way? You do. Fantastic. See you later. Or, I mean, you can stay if you want, but it's not going to be comfortable for you. So, um, yeah, I feel like that's the royals for you, man. They're fucking weird. So,
Yeah. Great people. Yeah, no. Quite weird, really. But yeah, I mean, imagine someone comes over to stay with you and then they just go and spend 2 days locked in a room.
I mean, I'm never letting that happen again. But
I plan to do that every time I visit someone. From now on, if you pay for a luxury suite, expect you got to factor in that's going to be my rider when I start doing big shows. I need 2 days in advance, locked in a suite. I'm not going to use any of the suite, so I could just use a basic room, but I need the suite.
yeah, absolutely. Because, reasons. But there's, I mean, you're going to want to have some variety in the cable stations available to you as well. Back in '93, my
Imagine that's
recollection
like
of the 90s,
what he decided his hotels by, and like had like an assistant who calls up in advance. I just wondering what collection of adult cable television do you have? I have an esteemed guest who needs to know.
Can you tell me all of the titles of all of the adult movies you have?
And does it run on repeat, or will there be new programming each day? And also, wouldn't you get annoyed as well? Like back in the 90s, I remember flying on planes. It would be annoying when you would get the same movie because you had to watch it on that projector thingy, and also you couldn't stop. But imagine you're at you're going. I mean, he would have traveled all the time, so he would have been going to different private suites. So he would have been spending days at different places, and then getting stuck with the same porno over again.
I wonder, did he get like 8 hours into a day of his porn marathon and be like, you know what? Just gonna fucking watch a regular movie for a couple of hours. Just gonna watch Unforgiven, and then I'm gonna get back to the porn. So, I don't know. Yeah, fucking hell. I mean, the dude is, you can tell looking at the dude, he's just like
there's something wrong with him.
There's something just up with that guy. Like, but
there was another story where he was apparently getting upset with people because he had to have his teddy bears in the right spots. And there was like a maid or something that moved the teddy bear and he had like a whole hissy fit over it.
This was when he was 47.
Yeah. No, I think it genuinely was too.
Fucking hell.
I mean, I respect it. I hate it when people move my teddy bears.
I mean, it's a level of OCD that, like, I mean, I get that, but like to specifically be about teddy bears at a later age.
So the former maid had a day-long training on how to arrange his 72 teddy bears. He was very clear about how he wanted them arranged. It was around the same time because she worked there in the 90s, so...
Teddy bear. I feel like in that case, then the teddy bears were not just teddy bears; they were rigged with cameras and some sort of shit. Yeah. He's the kind of guy who would do that.
Well, he also had to make sure they were in the right angle so that when he's watching his cable porn, that they're all getting a good view too.
Yeah, of course, that's essential. So, oh man, the life of the royal families, all of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
bizarre.
he seems like he is very, like something's wrong there.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So the next story. So a guy won the lottery, but didn't want the prize. So he won 5 multi-million dollar apartments. Doesn't want them.
Why did he enter the lottery? Think I'll win this competition that I don't want to win. What's the fucking point? Why'd you buy a ticket or tickets or however it works? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's tickets. Yeah. So he won it's around $10 million worth of, or £5 million, it says, worth of, apartments.
I mean, that's a pretty decent price. You know, you can sell them, you can rent them out, you can make a lot of money. But
he's been buying tickets for the last 4 years, it says too. And he said, as far as the prizes go, well, I just thought if I win, I win, but I never dreamed I would.
Okay. So, I mean, you could have done a lot of other things and buy a ticket for something you didn't really want to win if you did happen to win it. There's things you could have won.
Or you could enter a lottery that pays cash.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. So, you know.
He said that when they rang, he thought it was a scam.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's a very common thing. It's like, hey, sir, you know those tickets you keep buying? You won the prize. Fuck off.
I mean, it's like a block of apartments that has 10 car spots, has its pool, whatever.
Cool.
And yeah.
It sounds like so now he has this thing he doesn't want. Is he going to do his own?
Well, he has to sell it.
Raffle lottery thing. Oh, well, yeah.
But there's no tax in Australia on winning the lottery. There is if you sell real estate, especially if it's not. There isn't if it's your own house under most circumstances, but which this wouldn't be because he's not going to live there because he's also a complete moron. So literally, like, he's probably going to have to pay half of this in tax, where if he just went and lived there for a year and set it as a residence, then he could sell it and not pay that. So
sounds like the right thing to do. Yeah.
So he would save millions of dollars to live in the $10 million place that he won the lottery, which he paid money to enter in, which this was a prize for. But instead, he's just selling it and therefore paying a shitload of taxes.
I mean, yeah,
he would be forced to live in a $10 million property. I mean, I understand that's roughing it, but you know.
Some people just have tough lives where they have to do shit like live in $10 million buildings
and decide which of the 10 parking spaces to park their car in.
Yeah, that's rough.
And I think you only have to spend like half the year or just over to claim it as your main house. I mean, I almost feel like we should get a hold of this guy and say, we will save you money if you give us $1 million. We'll save you at least $2 million in taxes. And we're not going to tell you how until you agree to go with us and you sign this document.
Yeah. Although if he watches the podcast, he's just found out.
Fuck. It's probably an avid listener to this part. I mean, he is a complete moron, so he would be the target market for this podcast. So,
yes, he would. Yeah, but I mean, so surely somebody's gonna tell him just fucking live there for a year. A year is not that long it's
technically just over half a year because you only have to spend like 100 and whatever it is days, like one day more than half a year for it to be your main residence, and it has to be that for a year. And if you've done it for 1 year, then therefore it's your house.
That is the easiest way to not have to spend millions in tax. Like, save yourself millions by living somewhere for 6 months.
And it's living in a $10 million property too. It's not like living in a tent. It's not like you get $2 million to live in a tent in a park, which still would be worth it. But we're talking about $10 million to live in millions of dollars to live in a $10 million property on the beach. I mean, yeah.
It sounds like a pretty sweet deal. So,
and especially he paid for tickets in this, so he got like what he dreamed of winning.
Again, what I would say to this person is don't buy tickets for something you don't want. That's like, buy tickets for something you would be happy to receive. That's, what I would my advice going forward.
It's pretty wise advice.
You know,
well, on that note, when you're giving out advice as an expert, what's the weirdest thing you've had stuck up your bum?
Well, there was this one time. No. I don't know. What's the answer to this?
Well,
what is the thing that you have a story about somebody
there's
else?
No story. This is that was just me asking. just thought of it. No, a story. A bloke has got a 2-kilogram dumbbell stuck up his bum. And medics have to remove it with their hands.
Yeah, well,
it's an 8-inch dumbbell lodged into his rectum, and he arrived at A&E complaining of cramps and severe constipation. They found him uncooperative while he was being examined. So he's got in there saying that he has cramps and severe constipation and wouldn't tell them why. And so they made him do an x-ray. And then that's when they found out that he had a 2-kilogram dumbbell lodged firmly in the 54-year-old man's rectum.
First of all, when they're going to find out.
Yeah, I feel like you just got to be like, yeah.
Be like, so I was trying something.
I was doing weights. I was aggressively.
Now you think of doing weights is one way. I think doing weights means something else.
I think you just got to walk in there and look at the person dead in the eyes and say, I have a 2-kilogram dumbbell stuck up my ass and need it removed right now. And
that's it. You got to own it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta own
it. Make it awkward for them. Something's going to be awkward here. May as well be them.
Just be like, this is the most normal thing that has ever happened. What's your fucking problem?
Yeah, this is just a regular day for me.
Normally this goes fine, but right now this is a problem.
So when the medics at the hospital in Brazil, so back to Brazil, they tried to use tweezers, but they had to resort to brutally, it says, a more brutal method, and opted for a manual extraction. So that's going to be a great day as a doctor where you have to shove it.
I feel like that's why I didn't become a doctor, because I feel like there's a lot of...
The only reason I didn't become a doctor.
It's pretty much the only reason. It's not that I didn't have the ability to go to medical school. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that you would get a lot of people coming in with problems with their arse. You're like, got this thing in my arse and I need someone to help take it out. And I don't really feel like that's something I want to do with my life. But I want to know more about the tweezers they were trying to use, because in my mind, tweezers are quite small.
Well, it does actually explain what they did do. So it involved a surgeon inserting their hand up the forearm to get a grip on the item. So you got it really far up in there.
That's got to be uncomfortable.
It says, despite it being quite high, the manual transanal extraction was chosen, inserting the surgeon's forearm with some difficulty without post-extraction complications.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice story to have read out at your funeral. That's why Bertha's not let go, because she knows that story. She's gonna come.
She won't fucking stop talking about it. That's why she's not allowed at my funeral.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the eulogy is going to be, she was a lovely woman. She once got a 2-kilogram dumbbell stuck up her ass and wouldn't admit it, but other than that, she stuck the 2-kilogram dumbbell up the ass of life. That's how she'd want to be remembered.
It was her fault that got stuck there. That's why. Yeah.
It does say in there that retained rectal objects represent a rare complaint in the emergency room, affecting mainly males between 20 and 40 years old, with most objects of a sexual nature. But the examiner must be aware of objects of an unusual nature. Yeah. So, yeah. Wow. So according to a report from the Royal College of Surgeons in the UK, the NHS hospitals removed some 3,500 objects from patients' anuses between 2010 and 2019.
Wow.
Items retrieved from men's bottoms by doctors range from vegetables, torches, and in one particular horrifying example, a slimy 15-inch eel. Well, it's a good thing they've linked to that story. So here's your story.
That's around about one a day. One item per day in the UK is being retrieved from someone's anus. So there you go.
That means, every day, just think every day someone is getting something stuck up their ass. And you know what? This is a perfect money-making opportunity. We should target what to do if you get something stuck up your ass. In fact, I feel like that is going to be the name of this podcast because we will get people who search.
100%. How do you get something unstuck from your ass? It's a podcast with two guys. They might know.
As experts, here's what to do.
In law. Yeah.
As I said earlier, you look the person in the eye and you make them feel weird about this. Because at the end of the day, someone's going to feel weird. It's either going to be you or the person in the emergency room.
Yeah.
And it's,
you gotta own it.
You make them feel
Drink
weird.
some tequila.
Even if you get a 15 centimeter eel, 15-inch eel.
Jesus. Yeah, that's a weird one, but I guess, I mean, if it was, I don't understand how that got stuck, but anyway, that's a whole other thing.
There's another linked story here, which I'm just going to click on for the fun of it. Man calmly walks into hospital with blood-stained meat cleaver lodged in his head.
What? Blood-stained meat cleaver lodged in his head.
Well, I mean, you're going to get blood on it if you do get it lodged in your head, so.
Yep.
And so the police said they've not had any reports related to the incident, but they're looking into it.
Oh, good.
So whatever happened, you didn't want to tell anyone.
It's just like, can you get this out? Is that
what happened? We don't talk about that.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just got a cleaver stuck on my head. So you can sort that out for me. Oh, and there's an eel stuck on my arse. You can get that out as well.
That's been there for
just
weeks.
Get everything done while I'm here.
I've been meaning to get that looked at. This is how you get around it, though. So if you do get something stuck in your ass, you insert a meat cleaver into your head, and then
I don't think we should give that as actual advice.
Okay, that is not advice. I'm not a doctor. If you haven't picked it out yet, I don't happen to have been a doctor. But I'll give out my medical advice anyway. Unsolicited on a train. Mate, if you ever get something stuck in your ass or whilst naked in a pub, it's always a good topic of discussion.
It is.
I feel like there would be a good crossover between people who get stuff stuck in their ass and naked pub going.
I mean, yeah, definitely. There's definitely some crossover there. A lot more than people probably realize, I would imagine.
Not that I would know from personal experience last week.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so there's a serial killer house that is for sale. But there's a specific clause in there that people are mocking online. Do you know what it is?
No, I presume something like "Do not murder people at this house anymore, please." Something like that.
No. But the house, you're not allowed to access the basement.
That's not creepy at all.
So if you buy the house, you just can't access the basement.
I'm sorry, but if I'm buying the house, I'm going into the basement. What's going on?
The ad says cash offers only, no access to see lower level, and home sold as is only, with acknowledgement that home will convey with a person's living in lower level with no lease in place.
Oh, so there's people living there?
Yes.
All right, yeah, fuck that. Unless it's for sale for like $500.
But people on Instagram believe that the person living there is also a serial killer. So, yeah.
Oh, well then, yeah. No, thanks. I'll find a different house.
I mean, it's a good deal though.
Oh, okay then. How much is it?
$800,000 for a 5-bedroom house.
Is it in a good area?
I guess. I don't know. It says good.
I mean, it is. I mean, I feel like for 800,000 though, I want the place to myself. I don't want any weird serial killers in the basement. So
maybe that's Bertha.
You know,
maybe that's why she's not allowed at the funeral.
Could be involved in all of these stories actually, and that's why she's an unsavory character, not welcome at funerals.
Yeah.
So,
and it could also be the person from this next story. So a young woman has taken to Reddit to express her disgust with her partner's belief that he's a direct descendant of Mongol warlord Genghis Khan, which has led to him spoiling several parties with throat singing. He's basically, feels that she's trapped in a cosplay hell where her boyfriend will spoil parties with throat singing and insisting she refer to him as part of the horde. I don't really know how to translate everything he thinks into English, but I can say that he really considers himself to be a descendant of a famous Mongol warrior. He constantly makes weird humming sounds and tries to sing by using his throat. The last straw for me was when we were invited to a party and my boyfriend walked up to the speakers and put on a throat singing playlist from YouTube on full volume and tried to sing along. It was embarrassing and I had to leave early. My boyfriend stayed there for a couple more hours and I learned that his friends are also part of the horde. I want to become part of the horde. Can I get... Someone posted, I want to become part of the horde. Can I get his contacts? So, yeah. That's how you win a party over.
Yeah, I feel like that girlfriend needs to maybe disconnect from the so-called descendant of Genghis Khan. Because if he's willing to ruin parties, what else is he willing to do?
Yeah. And also, well, I think that actually you're wrong because... Isn't supposedly like some insane amount of people are actually related to him because like they went on some like crazy spree and he had some insane amount of women and basically some absurd percentage of people can be traced back to him.
That's probably why this person thinks he's related to this person somehow because but again, like as each fucking generation comes along, there's more and more people who will be added to that lineage and it becomes ridiculous. I mean, I think, there's a crazy number, but at the same time, anyone who has gone around sleeping with 20,000 women in their life is going to be connected to lots of people. So can you do?
Yeah. Well, you could be like the next person and be very petty. So this person dumped their boyfriend and it begs the question, what is the most petty reason you've ever heard of someone dumping someone for?
Oh, I saw something recently where it was like, I found out they liked a different brand of mayonnaise or some shit like that.
Well, that's a perfectly
like
acceptable reason. Mayonnaise is an important life value.
I mean, that was a bad example because, yeah, you're correct. But something of that line that like a lot of people would think, oh, that's not too big a deal. It's not a deal breaker. You could just buy separate condiments, I suppose. But it was something along those lines. Something like they didn't like this that I like, so that was it.
Well, this woman dumped her boyfriend because his mum wouldn't buy her a first class plane ticket.
Yeah, I've dumped many a person over that. So,
as you should. Yeah. But the twist in this one is that actually the mum bought everyone else first class tickets except her.
Yeah. You're not really wanted in that family. So good luck.
So the mother named Becky, who would make snide remarks about her parents' blue-collar jobs and would even slam her nursing career. Things came to a climax at the airport when it turned out Becky had bought first-class tickets for 7 of the family members, but had left her alone to fly in economy.
Oh.
And she told me I was used to it, and she had a free coach ticket, so I should be grateful for going. And they all did their express check-ins and left me in the long line for me to think about what the heck is going on. Which that is actually extremely petty because you can just check in, especially if there's 7 of you flying first class. Yeah. You could all go together. Because you could make the argument there was only 7 spots, and if you're being polite about it, you could go, I'm so sorry, there are only 7 spots, and for whatever reason, you're the one. I'm really sorry about this.
Yeah.
And but making them check in on their own on top of that. And she had to pay for her bags too.
Oh, no way. That seems like someone else could have taken her bag.
And then not paid for it.
With their first class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a good enough reason. Screw you, Becky, and your fucking first class ticket. But like to break up with someone because their mom did that is not really a good reason.
Well, it would depend on how you handled it. Because if the mom does that and you're not like, I'm so sorry, my mom is like that, whatever, then yeah. But if it's like,
if you laughed about it, like
then you're a great person.
Yeah. See you later. We'll go and have a couple of drinks while you're queuing up because fuck it.
We'll be 10 drinks deep and we'll wait for you on the plane.
Well, we'll see you when the plane lands. You can walk past us on your way to your cheap seat. All right.
Yeah. We don't want to see scum like you. Make sure to keep your head down as you walk past.
Please don't acknowledge us in front of the other first class passengers.
We don't want them to think that you're with us.
Yeah, you don't get broken up with for that, I think. So
I mean, this story, I mean, I don't think it's you, but you've been there, right? I mean, a man suffered a freak injury while masturbating and had to be hospitalized. I mean, it's not you because the guy's 20. So it says a 20-year-old was left in intensive care after a freak accident happened while he was masturbating.
Yeah, I really appreciate them changing my age so that this wouldn't come out and be linked to me. But what kind of accident did he have? Is this another something got accidentally inserted story?
So he was hospitalized for 3 days and spent a night in ICU as the air had escaped from his lung and became lodged in his rib cage, according to the report. The patient took himself to A&E and after experiencing breathlessness and chest pain while he was performing the act in his bed. When he arrived at the hospital, it was clear he had really done a number on himself. His face was swollen and crunching noises were coming from his neck down to the arms. He was diagnosed with spontaneous Newman. Oh my God, this is going to be very hard to. PNEUMOMEDISTINUM. I swear they never told us how to pronounce that in our medical classes. But anyway, as a doctor, which is leakage of the air from the lung to the ribs.
Okay.
It's the first case to be caused by masturbation. However, it has been noted before during sex.
I feel like this is a cautionary tale to all those people who are going too hard when they're jacking off.
Well,
so
this guy is a hero because, as I previously said, and I had not read this before, but he says, the article says, when he turned up to the hospital, he handled this perfectly. He told the medics he'd experienced this sharp chest pain while masturbating, which, as we all know, is the importance of going to a doctor with issues. You make sure you look them in the eyes and tell them.
Yeah. It's like, this is what I was doing. Let me show you.
Now, I was watching Horny Backdoor Slut 7 and about 3 minutes and 13 seconds into it. Much better than number 6, I got to tell you. They've really upped the ante on this series.
Prince Andrew and I were 2.5 days into our marathon watching all these series and just happened. So yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a scary one. Having to spend time in ICU and everything because you were.
Well, the ironic thing is, if you're in ICU, you're sitting there on your own, bored with nothing to do, and that is the most likely time when you're gonna want to.
Somebody might get an idea or two. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck.
Well, back to Brazil again. So after revelations that the Brazilian military had bought Viagra pills for its troops, a lawmaker claimed Tuesday it also acquired 60 penile implants for reasons that were not divulged.
Is this episode sponsored by the Brazil Tourism Board? Is that
Brazil? Homeless people are fucking models because God told them to, and they don't even have to shower. The government's giving people Viagra and penis implants. They cost like 10 grand each, it says as well. They spent more than 700 grand on penile implants. And they bought 35,000 units of Viagra.
So the implants, did they just buy the implants or get the procedures done? I don't like.
Well, they didn't divulge further information. So, I mean, obviously they're going to use it.
Is it a DIY kit? Do you?
You'd want to get it right if you're doing it.
Just don't cut the wrong vein.
It went the wrong way. It's actually stuck in my ass now.
I thought it would find its way there. It's in that area. It didn't.
So the defense ministry said the pills were to treat patients with pulmonary arterial hypertension or a type of high blood pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. So
people said this explains why the military's support for Bolsonaro, the leader, just rises and rises. And then it said, some say these pills are to help the armed forces fuck democracy even harder.
I mean, that's probably not their intended purpose, but hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Pfizer have a lot to answer for.
Yeah. Then the next story. Now, what is the weirdest person you've heard of someone, weirdest reason you've heard of someone suing their employer?
The weirdest suing their employer. I heard of one person suing their employer because he threatened to kill his boss, and then he was fired, and then he sued them because he was like, you shouldn't have fired me for that. That was kind of weird. Aside from that, I don't know.
This one might even be weirder than that. Kentucky man sues and won $450,000 because his employer threw him a birthday party.
All right. got a birthday coming up. Going to tell them in work.
And if they dare have a party,
Yeah,
450
party,
grand.
please. Yeah. Jesus, why? How did he win this though? What was the
Because he didn't want the birthday party, so he sued his employer after he was fired following a birthday party they threw for him in August. According to the court documents, he had notified the office manager that birthday parties trigger his anxiety disorder and that being the center of attention would cause him to have a panic attack.
Okay.
Well, and he'd actually asked them not to have the birthday party as they did for other employees.
Okay. So this is something they did for all their employees.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, I don't want a birthday party because it makes me like panic attack or whatever. And then they had the party and they fired him.
They had the party at lunch during the lunch break. And the incident caused the employee to leave the office suddenly and spend his lunch break in his car.
I know lots of people who spend their lunch break in their car, but okay.
Well, I know of a certain homeless man who
loves to get into cars on lunch breaks.
Yes, because God told the woman to. So he sent a text message to the office manager asking why she didn't accommodate his request to not have the party. And then he was called into a meeting the next day, which he said he was confronted and criticized by the office manager about his reaction to the birthday party. And then that meeting then triggered another panic attack. And he asked the office manager to stop. And then the employee was sent home for the next 2 days. And that weekend, he was notified that he was being fired because of the events of the previous week.
I mean, it sounds like they had no grounds to fire him, but it also sounds like, I mean, dude, if you don't want a birthday party for yourself, just don't attend it. It's fine.
Well, to be fair, he did say he doesn't want it, and they did do it regardless of the fact that he said he doesn't want it.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, you can just ignore. I ignore a lot of stuff that goes on,
including
I don't feel the need to like people.
You ignore
come along.
You ignore the 2-kilogram dumbbell stuck up your ass.
I mean, I try to. Sometimes it's difficult, but you get the. Like if someone throws a party and you're like, I've no interest in that party, you just say, well, I'm going to spend my lunch in my car. You have your fucking party. I don't care. And off you go. So, you don't have to make a big deal of it at the same time. You can just be like, I hate you fuckers. I'm just getting on with my job. And that's, I worked in places I hated everyone I worked with, and you just get on with it. Who cares?
This podcast included.
I'm not everybody. I mean, not everybody, but
not everybody on this podcast, but some people.
But I feel like it's a weird one, but he won. So like, I mean, I don't know why they fired him though. That doesn't seem like a fireable offense to not want a birthday party.
Yeah.
Or to object to a birthday party. So yeah, good for him. Hopefully he sets up a rival company doing the same business and takes all of their clients away.
And throws everyone birthday parties.
Yeah. Yeah. And if somebody asks not to have a birthday party, it's like, fuck you. This company got started.
The birthday party company.
Oh, it would be so funny if it was in the party industry.
It's like Joe's birthdays.
It's like a party supply company. I'm sure his fellow employees were like, oh, come on, we'll have a party. We get not work for a little bit of time. We get to take a little bit of time away from our drudgery of a day or whatever. And then they're like, well, look, we have to have it for everyone else. So, we're just having a party, but whatever. Either way, he got his lawsuit through. That's awesome. But yeah, I hope he did something fun with it, like bought a murderer's house or something.
Well, this is another wild story. So when Wayne Rooney was playing for Manchester United, he was once given a dressing down by the club because he was having a wild night out and someone had complained a lot. So the club had to they had to keep the story out of the thing. And they were really upset because they'd spent so much energy to try to stop the woman from going to newspapers and whatever. And then midway through the thing, they were saying that he needed to stop heading out on town with fellow England footballer Theo Walcott and to try to and to not try to shag anyone that he could. But then he kept denying it and saying that he wasn't that good of a friend with Walcott, so it didn't make sense. And then they eventually found out that it wasn't him, and it was just two people that actually looked like both of them who went out and were, yeah.
And that was you and me, James.
Yeah.
You used to go around
Identical.
Manchester and be like, yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I've kind of seen things of like lookalikes or guys who kind of look a little bit like other like famous dudes, like playing that card and trying to, get the ladies that they would not get by themselves. Like, oh, you look a little bit like that famous person. Why are you staying in the cheapest hotel in town?
God told me to. That's why.
Yeah, God told me to. And have you showered? Because that's not it's a part of the deal.
Well, for the final story, it's Easter time as we're recording this. So a woman, she's been keeping her Easter egg for 62 years and is paid £80 a month to stop it from melting. So can you have a guess why that would be the case?
She's paying £80 a month to stop it from melting.
Yes.
Does she not have a fridge?
She's 75 and she was 13 years old when she got this egg and has kept it.
What's wrong with this lady?
This is Bertha.
Funny, but actually is a lady called Bertha.
It's not. Her name's
I have no
Helion
idea.
Fern, which is a weird name in itself. But anyway.
Yeah. This is a posh person. We know that now. So I will have no way of connecting with this person. I have no idea, to be honest. I presume it's a funny story, though.
So she thought it was too pretty to eat.
Okay.
So she's decided to leave it unopened for the next 6 decades and is spending £80 a month on a cold storage container to keep the chocolate from melting in mint condition. She remembers the day she was given the egg in 1960 and she plans to keep it for the rest of her life. And the egg is stored in Warwickshire despite her no longer living in the area.
How does she know it's still there then?
Obviously, she goes and visits it.
This is crazy because this to me seems like one of those stories where somebody left a note or something in the egg for her. It was a very important thing and she had to open it. And they're just like, open the fucking egg. Open the fucking egg. She's like, no, I'm keeping it forever.
She has 4 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. And when she got it, she thought to herself, I'll keep it until Whitsun, but then never ate it. So then I thought, I'll keep it until Christmas. And then Christmas came and went. It became a bit of a challenge after that to see how long I could hold out. I'm quite impressed with my willpower because I've always loved chocolate.
I mean, it's 60 fucking years old. It's not going to be the best chocolate anymore. I don't think chocolate's one of those things that ages and gets better with age. I could be wrong, but I think that's...
Come on. You've never tried a 62-year-old Easter egg, so you can't really talk. So quit talking like you're some expert on this topic and you know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I've tasted that's 60 years old or not, okay? So you just mind your business.
You're the reason,
She's
Bertha. He's not allowed to the funeral.
I know this, like, if you're a family member, you got to be thinking there's people out there who bought like guitars in 1960 that are worth like £500,000 now. And no, my grandmother bought a fucking Easter egg and it's kept it all this time. Not something from that time that was like super expensive now, could like buy off like or pay for a house or something. No, an Easter egg that nobody really cares about.
At just £80 a month for 62 years, that's nearly 60 grand. I just did the maths then. £59,520.
It must be getting
That's
close
without
to the most
interest. That's
expensive
without
Craic
like
of all time.
if you'd invested that in whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have bought a house easily for that, and
no doubt about it. Like, I mean, just put it in a.
you could have bought a house with a serial killer in the basement for that kind of money.
Yeah, easily.
So she even says it's in Warwickshire, but I moved to be nearer my daughter in Wales. But when I did live nearby, I would actually go and visit it occasionally.
How does that day look? It's like, I feel like I'm going to visit my Easter egg today. You going to eat your Easter egg? Fuck no. I'm just going to visit it.
I mean, imagine you sitting on a train and you tell someone, I'm going to visit my Easter egg. And they're like, that's funny because I have a 2-kilogram dumbbell stuck on my ass and you're the weirdo here.
Yeah. What are you doing? I'm just on my way to the hospital to have a dumbbell removed. That's all. But yeah. Jesus, that is interesting. Yeah.
She even says, I couldn't eat it now, even if I wanted to, but it's just become part of the family now and I will keep it forever. I tell you one thing, for her funeral, the second she dies, somebody's taking that thing and canceling that £80 a month.
100%. Fuck that. I don't know why a regular fridge won't do the job. Like, why?
Because if the power goes out and then...
It's an Easter egg. It's chocolate. It's not going to melt in England. It's not that hot. So it'll be fine. So yeah, that's a crazy story. £80 a month. This is why I feel like people are easily like separated from their money, because that seems like something that she should not be paying per month. And over the years, what was it, 60 grand?
Yeah.
Mental. So.
I mean, I hope that she never wins a lottery and gets a $10 million property she doesn't want, because imagine she got a property and then traded it for an Easter egg and was like, fair deal.
She must think all those people eating their Easter eggs this year are like fucking idiots. You could keep that for 60 years and pay like an £80 a month subscription to keep it like cold and not melt.
Yeah, not to mention they taste like shit like after a couple months. So yeah. God knows what it's going to taste like after 62 years.
I don't think it's going to be good. I'm just saying. So
yeah. Well, that has been the Sick Craic podcast. I'm off to go lift some dumbbells.
I mean, yeah, when you say lift, yeah.
I'm going to sit down and
yeah, it's been a fun one. I mean, I do think Brazil sponsored the episode, and we learned a lot. So
we've given
good.
Expert medical advice
of some nature. I don't know about expert, but for sure.
Well, expert medical advice from people who have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as that's what you're after, that's what you got. So
yes,
it's all good.
We've given you advice on how to overcome the anxiety of going into an emergency room when you have something stuck in your rectum.
Yeah,
from personal experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a good time.
Yes.
So yeah, next week, more regional based weirdness.
Yes. To Brazil.